So I'm Jen, I'm 35 years old and I've been a nurse for 10 years. I am also a yoga instructor and a Reiki master. When I first began my nursing career, I worked in ICU as well as the cardiac ICU, which is critical care units. And then I transitioned into hospice nursing, and my current job as a nurse, I am a high school nurse. When I worked critical care, I remember H1N1 flu. It was not considered a pandemic, but I do recall the big tents needing to be fitted for masks or specialty masks. And I remember that year, the flu was taking people that were young and healthy, about my age. And then I just remember what it is like to work in critical care on a normal, tough day, let alone what many people in healthcare are facing right now, with, just as an example, having proper PPE or not, or having to reuse. And that's just one little blip of something. I first discovered yoga. I might have taken like 1 or 2 classes at a fitness retreat for a weekend, and I didn't really get a chance to connect with it then. I didn't really fully understand it until the year 2016, when I was in a car accident. And after the car accident, literally a month after that, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And with both of those things, although just one initially, you can go through a lot of different emotions like fears, anxieties, depressions. You know, I'm a very active person. Everyone's cheerleader. I allowed my anxieties, the depression, frustrations, anger, like so many different emotions to strip me of my livelihood. And someone who I went to school with has a yoga business in California. She happened to be home locally, and we were chatting about how I was just looking for a holistic approach to how I can deal with my anxiety and my depressions, as well as deal with the autoimmune disease and back pain for at that time frame. So after talking with her, that is how I discovered yoga. I got to do a few more practices, and she kept in touch with me and said she sees me as a yoga instructor. I laughed in her face, and sure enough, I ended up flying to California, and that is where my journey with yoga really kicked off. And I got to learn so much more about yoga, whether it's for pain relief or emotional release. Definitely. I was the person who, I can't touch my toes. I can't do a cartwheel. I'm not flexible enough. At that time, I also had some body image issues where, you know, God forbid somebody looked at me and there was a belly fold. Everyone's in their own zone. No one's looking at that. But back then, I didn't know that. I never fully understood how yoga is more than just poses, like the physicalness of it. There's so much more to yoga. And those who use essential oils, I used to think this is crap. Like, I don't know why these people would think an oil, something that smells, would do healing. But now I know a little bit better that plants are healing too. So yes, I was definitely someone who had a whole lot of judgments about yoga. One of the things that I love about yoga, and I continue to practice, is I initially got into yoga for anxiety, depression, fears, pain relief, and life changes all the time. Healing is never linear. So anytime that I have something pop up that is small or a larger scale with anxieties or any of those emotions I mentioned, I can come back to yoga and deal with my emotions, feel them, I face them, rather than what I used to do, which was just shove them somewhere where I didn't have to deal with them, only later to find out that they will resurface. And it didn't do me any good. So I absolutely love that the yoga practice can help me move through and deal with how I'm feeling. It helps me to feel more free, because I don't have that burden weighing on my shoulders. There's so many benefits to yoga, whether it's on a physical level or on the emotional and mental level. Applying tips and tools from yoga that have helped me, let's say when I've needed an MRI, it can be noisy and anxiety provoking when you're in there for a long time. And I've learned how to breathe properly, like literally intentionally breathe. Something as small and simple as that goes a long way with so many different things. Absolutely. I think yoga is beneficial to everyone right now as a first responder. And I may not touch on all the points, but there are normal anxieties or fears of an unknown when you are walking in to your shift, let alone you don't know what is walking into the door when you're working. And having to critically think very fast, maybe a larger volume right now with the pandemic. Your role as a first responder, I'll speak on the nurse level. Again, there's so many different things, including someone who cleans. They are important too. But on the nurse level, you may not only be their nurse, but you may be that person's loved one when they're in that isolated room and they don't get their loved one. Like I spoke earlier with H1N1, they had families at the bedside then. This is so different where people are dying alone. That takes a lot of courage and vulnerability as the healthcare giver, as well as you hold on to that. I mean, any caring person is going to feel that. Any compassionate person is going to feel that. And to try to disconnect that from when you go home, I mean, it's a lot that you're carrying on your shoulders. You're at work and you may or may not have proper PPE, or maybe you're needing to reuse it. I don't currently work first response, and I know that has disrupted my peace, just imagining what it would be like if I was in your shoes. I give everyone so much credit. Now I'm going to get emotional. That's a lot. You're literally risking your life to care for others. In addition, you are going home or quarantining from your family. First response aside, your life was disrupted and changed too. The normal things that you did for your own fun and health and whatever the case is. There's just a lot. There's a lot to deal with. Some people are dealing with racism and harassment. Maybe you're that nurse that's trying to educate the public about not wearing gloves because you're cross-contaminating. There's so much that goes into this. Maybe you're doing your own research about what you believe in regarding the virus and other things you may see or read, truths and whatnot. There's just so much. If you felt that you resonated with any of the things or other things I didn't mention, absolutely, I agree that yoga is so beneficial for first response. If you can deal with your emotions the way I've discussed, I've dealt with mine and continue to deal with mine. You're able to, I always butcher quotes, but you don't want to pour from an empty cup. Deal with yourself first so that then you can give to others. And hopefully I got that right. Deal with yourself first. You need to put your self-care first so that you have enough to give to others, because that's what your job is about. Again, and that stems from the cleaning people all the way up to whoever is, chain of command. It's so important to take care of yourself first so that then you can give to others. So yoga, I originally thought it could be, oh, you move through some poses, this is great, maybe it's a workout. But yoga is so, so much deeper than that. One of the principles I've learned with yoga, your gaze is called your drishti. And you can apply this on your mat. Where you look, your body will go. Just like you can apply this off of your mat in your life. So if your drishti or your vision is set in the past, I'll speak to myself. I used to always live in the past, compare to my past, have fear about the past, also the future, anxieties about the future. When my drishti or my vision was on either of the two of those things, I'd feel stuck. And the amazing thing I've learned about yoga is when you change your drishti, maybe setting in an intention or your drishti on being present, and there's so many things with that, you can change your life. You can completely change your life and create some possibilities that maybe you would not have seen because your drishti or your vision was set on something different. This is just literally one thing that's been super powerful for me, but there's so many other skills. Something else that resonates with for yoga, I mentioned earlier that I used to think, oh, my body image, I hope no one sees a belly fold, my pants, I gotta pull them up when I'm doing yoga. Like, who cares? Everyone is doing the same thing in yoga. No one's worried about you, they're worried about themselves. So one thing I learned is to stay in the mess and go with the flow for whatever it is that we have going on in life. The more I would resist and try to control a situation, on the mat, my body would become more rigid, and the yoga didn't flow as easily. In life, the more I would try to resist and control something and be rigid, it was more of a struggle to achieve whatever goal that I had. So learning to go with the flow is also something that's been beneficial. It creates more ease in my life, and then just feels again more possibilities rather than feeling stuck. What are you waiting for? I wish I knew yoga sooner than when I found it. I wish I was more open-minded. So I encourage you to be open-minded and just go for it. Just try it. Have zero judgments around whatever it is you're facing or feeling. Have zero judgments around yourself in your actual yoga practice. It is a practice. So yoga, there's no good or bad at yoga. Literally, it's a practice, and it's going to change every time you take your mat. And to have fun. Like, allow yourself to have fun. Right now, it's serious at work. Maybe it's serious at home for different reasons. Have fun and just allow yourself to feel alive. My encouragement to you is there are several different styles for yoga. Each instructor may have their own style. So see what is your best fit. See what you mesh with. There's so much out there. Give it a chance. The more open-minded you are, the more of a benefit you may find from learning. What you do on the mat applies in life. Yoga truly is a way of living your life and living your best version of your life. And just thank you so much for what you're doing, on the front lines right now. Thank you for your courage and your strength. And make sure to take care of yourself too. You are important. Just like the people you care for so well, care for yourself. Put yourself on your calendar for your own self-care.